Hi there, my name is Katrina. I'm with the Georgian Bay Biosphere. You may have seen me or some of my colleagues out on your lake in Seguin Township this summer doing benthic monitoring. This video will explain what benthic monitoring is and why we were doing it.
Most people are familiar with the idea of looking at water quality from a stressor-based approach. For example, monitoring water chemistry parameters like pH, dissolved oxygen, or total phosphorus. Stressor-based monitoring approaches give us important information about an aquatic ecosystem's exposure to stress, but leave us with questions about the significance or effect of that stress. Biological monitoring, or biomonitoring, uses an effect-based approach to tell us how an aquatic ecosystem has responded to a stress. One type of biomonitoring is called benthic monitoring, which involves the collection and identification of benthic macroinvertebrates. In partnership with the Georgian Bay Biosphere, Seguin Township initiated a benthic monitoring program in 2020. This program currently involves monitoring 10 lakes throughout the township and is complementary to Seguin Township's existing water quality monitoring program.
So what are benthic macroinvertebrates? Well, let's break it down into its three parts. Benthic means bottom dwelling, or something that lives at the bottom of the lake. Macro means something that can be seen with the naked eye. And invertebrates are animals without backbones. So when we put it all together, we're talking about aquatic insects that spend all or part of their life cycle living at the bottom of the lake. Now, benthic macroinvertebrates make good indicators for many reasons, because they are easy to collect, they vary in their tolerance to pollution, and they're typically quite abundant.
Benthic monitoring on Seguin Township lakes involves selecting a natural or minimally impacted site that is wadeable, disturbing the bottom of the lake along a transect from 1 meter depth to the water's edge, and using a D-net to collect the dislodged invertebrates. The contents of the net are emptied into a bucket and then the sample is processed. This process is repeated 3 times for each lake to ensure that the samples are representative of the benthic community in the lake. Processing samples involves taking random subsamples from the bucket and picking out and identifying all of the benthic macroinvertebrates from that subsample. Subsamples are taken from the bucket until at least 100 critters have been found, identified, and recorded. With this information, we can compare Seguin Township lakes to others in the region to determine if a lake is typical, having the type of benthic community we would expect of a lake in this region, or atypical, having a benthic community that is not what we would expect to see. We can also monitor the benthic community over the long term to determine if we are seeing any changes that could be the result of warming water temperatures, increased development, or the introduction of invasive species, for example. Let's take a look under the microscope at some of the common benthic macroinvertebrates we see. Before dragonflies are flying elegantly through the sky, they have an aquatic larval stage. They breathe by drawing water in and out of their hind end. By forcefully expelling this water, the animal can move quickly in a form of jet propulsion. Have you ever witnessed a mayfly hatch? Before mayflies emerge in the spring and summer, they have several aquatic nymph stages. The body shape of mayfly species can look quite different depending on the type of habitat they live in. Mayflies are known to indicate good water quality. Some species of midges are known as blood midges. They contain the red blood pigment hemoglobin, which allows them to absorb oxygen from the water more readily. As a result, they can survive in habitats with very low levels of oxygen, including heavily polluted areas. Midges are so widespread and occur in such large numbers that most predators will feed on them at some stage of development. Mites look like small spiders in the water. They move with an uncoordinated, scrambling swimming motion and can be brightly colored, like this red mite. Scuds have arched bodies and are flattened sideways, like shrimp. Though they often crawl along the bottom, they're commonly referred to as side swimmers because of the way they swim. Scuds do not have a separate larval stage. Instead, young scuds look just like small adults. Sow-bugs are found in all types of aquatic habitats. Freshwater sow-bugs live mainly along the bottoms of ponds, lakes, streams, and springs, but have also been recorded at depths of as much as 55 meters. Sow-bugs are the poorest swimmers of all freshwater crustaceans. They can barely swim at all, and their movement is usually restricted to a slow crawl. The class Gastropoda includes snails and slugs. Most gastropods have a muscular foot used for creeping. They also have a well-developed head that includes eyes at the end of 1 or 2 pairs of tentacles.
We hope you learned a lot about Seguin Township's Benthic Monitoring Program. Thanks so much for watching this video.